Hello, this is Dr. J here with Let's Play Doom on my Nintendo Switch. So, a couple of preliminaries before we get started. First, about my experience with this game. Compared to your typical Doom player, it's not much, really. I actually didn't play the game when it first came out. Not because of age. I was born in the early to mid-'80s, so I certainly was old enough to have played the game when it first came out. But I didn't, because my family didn't have it at the time. I did play this game some years after it first came out, but by that point it was no longer sort of the definitive, immersive first-person shooter experience. And that means that unlike a lot of Doomers, I don't really have the nostalgia for this game that a lot of them do. Nonetheless, I obviously know what a huge landmark and step forward that this game was as far as gaming in general and first-person shooters in particular are concerned. And even if I don't have that original release player nostalgia, I certainly like the Doom series a great deal. I don't even like first-person shooters in general very much, but there's a few exceptions, and the Doom series is certainly one of those exceptions. It's one of the few first-person shooter franchises that I actually really enjoy. Now, it has been many, many years since I played the original Doom maps. Probably a couple of decades. That means that although I remember the weapons and the enemies and the gist of the gameplay from Doom, I legitimately don't really remember the maps at all. I don't remember their layouts, their tricks, their gimmicks, where the secrets are. In that respect, this will almost be like a blind run. Not a blind run of Doom in general, because as I said, I remember the gist of the gameplay pretty well, but a blind run of the OG maps, just because it's been so long, I've completely forgotten whatever I once knew about them. One other note before we get started. You've probably already noticed that I'm not playing the original soundtrack in the background. The original Doom soundtrack is very upbeat synth rock, and it creates a weirdly cheerful atmosphere while playing the game, which has its own charm, but instead of doing that, I decided to turn the music off and play the soundtrack from the PlayStation version of Doom, which is far more atmospheric and creepy and evocative. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want a more atmospheric and creepy run for this playthrough, and not the super cheerful, upbeat feel that you get if you play the original soundtrack. Sorry if that enrages any purists out there, but that's just the way I decided to roll. And there is, as I said, it's the PlayStation soundtrack, so there is an entire version of Doom that uses this music, so it's not like I'm just completely making something up. Anyway, that is probably enough babbling from me, except that I will just also briefly mention that with my sound setup, in order for me to be able to hear the music, the soundtrack that I'm splicing in, I actually have one earbud from the Nintendo Switch in my right ear, and an earbud from my computer playing the music in my left ear. This is actually going to put me at a bit of a handicap, because this game does have directional audio, which is useful to tell where monsters are and stuff. So that's legitimately going to be a bit of a handicap for me, but I think it's going to be worth it to be able to hear the music. Alright, we're going to go through the episodes in order, of course. It would be weird to do them out of order. And I'm just going to go with the default difficulty, Hurt Me Plenty, which is basically normal mode, because as far as Doom is concerned, I'm basically a filthy casual, and I'm not ashamed of that fact. Alright, so let me prepare the next track. And let's dive into it. Alright, so that's the door we came through. As I said, I don't really remember these maps at all, and I wasn't kidding. I remember basically nothing. So this is, in that respect, basically a blind run. I'm not sure what that switch activated. I'm sure it activated something. Just On the miraculous chance that someone watching this doesn't know the plot to Doom, not that the plot really matters, but the gist of it is that the UAC Space Corporation, sometime in the future, on the planet Mars and its satellites Deimos and Phobos, is conducting experiments with teleportation technology, and in so doing, they accidentally opened a portal to hell, and demons started pouring through. And we're the last surviving space marine in the area. Our buddies went in ahead of us and all got killed. We can see their corpses around. Well, actually, it's the lucky ones who got killed. The unlucky ones are turned into hell zombies. And so it's pretty much up to us to go in, clean up the demons, and save humanity, more or less. We're actually, I believe, on Deimos right now, not the surface of Mars. And the reason that I wanted to bring that up is because this landscape, with these craggy mountains and that gray, cloudy sky, as evocative as it is, this is completely wrong. Although they're called moons, Deimos and Phobos are just big asteroids in orbit around Mars. They really don't even deserve the moniker moons. I'm pretty sure the surface would not look like this, and it certainly wouldn't have an atmosphere. So this is totally wrong, but it's a video game, so who cares? And it looks cool, so who cares times 2. But I just wanted to bring that up. I'm already loving the creepier atmosphere from playing the PlayStation music instead of the very upbeat synth rock of the original. Here's our first enemies. A couple of zombies. These are former buddies of ours, former Marines, who have been turned into the undead by the powers of hell. Sucks to be them. And here we are making our way through facilities of the UAC. I don't actually remember what that stands for. United Aerospace Corporation or something like that. But anyway, it's a basically evil space company that, like I said, was doing teleportation research. Oh, and there, on that platform up there, is our first actual demon, an imp. Doom Guy is not a good shot with this pistol whatsoever, but we'll let him go because... or we'll let him off for that, because it's legitimately pretty hard to shoot handguns accurately compared to rifles or any other long gun. Imps are actually pretty easy to fight if you have room to dodge, because they just shoot a slow-moving projectile directly at you. So you just use the sacred technique of stepping slightly to the side, and they will miss you. Looks like we're at the end already. Incredibly short level. I'm sure I missed a bunch of secrets. We can check the map real quick and do a little bit of backtracking just to see if we missed anything. Well, I mean, I'm sure we did, but if we can figure out what we missed. Oh, this came down. Okay. I love the impish smile that Doom Guy gets on his face when he picks up a new weapon. I'm glad we went back for that, because the shotgun's a huge improvement over the pistol. Classic demon and zombie killing equipment. Essential. Alright, with that, let's go ahead and call level 1 complete. Okay, yeah, there were 3 secrets and I missed 2 of them, but that's okay. Onward to level 2. I'll check the volume levels after I'm done recording this episode, and if they're off in any particular way, like if the sound and music is too loud or too quiet, I'll make adjustments for the next episode. It can be hard to get the sound levels right at first, especially when you're pulling from multiple sources like I am right now, both my Switch and my computer and my microphone. I probably don't need to be conserving ammo on the shotgun like this. I can probably pretty safely switch to it and use it as my main gun now. More Marine corpses scattered everywhere. They didn't get very far, did they? Sneaky flank. So, fun little fact about Doom Guy, if you actually read the backstory in the manual. Apparently, he was stationed at Mars as basically a punishment because he beat the crap out of his superior officer when his superior ordered his subordinates to fire on civilians. So Doom Guy wasn't having any of that and beat the snot out of his superior officer, got transferred to Mars as punishment. And now here he is. Now that's just an interesting little bit of backstory because it kind of shows that Doom Guy here, he's not just a demon-slaying killing machine. He is partly that, but he also seemingly has a heart of gold. Well, I just think that's kind of a neat little bit of backstory. I am already getting lost because I'm spending too much time commenting on silly nonsense and not enough time paying attention to where I'm going. Okay, we can't go that way. Aha, there's the red door. We can go through there because we got the red key card. I was actually aiming for the barrel, but I completely missed it and sniped off those guys instead. One thing that used to throw me about the original Doom games is that the shotgun is actually basically a sniping weapon. I mean, it works good up close, too. But you absolutely can snipe with it, which is really important to realize because this game doesn't have any kind of sniper rifle or any kind of rifle at all, really. So yeah, your go-to sniping weapon is going to be your shotgun. That used to confuse me. And man, the gameplay of this game, it absolutely still holds up. It is still really fun. Ambush to this day. The sacred sidestep technique works wonders. I mean, I guess it's just the basics of first-person shooters. They haven't really changed. Ever since Wolfenstein 3D and then this game and whatever other more obscure first-person shooter precursors there may have been. The fundamentals of the genre haven't really changed in all that time. Are we to the exit again already? There's no way that I didn't miss all kinds of secrets, but what the heck. Let's move onward. Okay, yep. It is the exit, but there were a couple guys standing in our way. And an imp. The enemy sprites are kind of cartoony looking in this game, like the imps there. Most of them aren't really terribly frightening. It is another way in which the original Doom was... Honestly, it was more of a fun arcade romp. But, I'm trying to create a little bit more of a horror atmosphere by playing the PlayStation soundtrack, as I said. Alright, onward to level 3. The Toxin Refinery. The first few levels, of course, are pretty easy, so even if you're totally out of practice like me, you can still get through them pretty comfortably. We just saw an example of friendly fire there, where the enemies, the demons and the zombies, can absolutely damage each other, and sometimes they'll get mad at each other and start fighting amongst themselves when that happens. It's a nice little touch in the game, and sometimes it can actually be an important strategy. If you're fighting a whole bunch of guys, try to get them to hit each other and fight each other instead of you. Now, I don't think that works between enemies of the same type. Like, if you're fighting all imps, I don't think that they can damage each other and they won't attack each other. So I think that only works if you're fighting a mixed group of different types of enemies, but it's an important strategy sometimes. Whoa, we're under fire. Okay, there's an imp up there on that balcony. I think we're going to want to fight pretty carefully while we're on this platform. I feel like I might have missed something by not going the other way first. I'm going to check that real quick. We don't have the blue key yet. Maybe not. Maybe I actually can't even go that way at all. Nope, I can. I can go this way. Oh boy. Ugh. That was a dangerously placed explosive barrel. That was kind of a waste getting that armor when I was only down 4%. Well, if we had missed a shotgun earlier, we could pick one up there if we still didn't have one somehow. I love that almost mischievous look that Doom Guy has as he looks back and forth in his little portrait down there. And how, as you take more and more damage, that little portrait looks more and more beat up. It's a nice bit of detailing. It really injects a lot of personality. Doom Guy is almost kind of a goofy-looking dude in some ways, isn't he? He's a badass Marine who single-handedly defeats the legions of hell, but he is also a goofy guy with a heart of gold. Doom Guy's awesome. I honestly kind of prefer this Doom Guy, who's just an ordinary Space Marine who's just so angry and so badass that he can single-handedly defeat legions of demons, versus the more newfangled lore where they decided to turn him into some kind of demigod of demon slaying or some nonsense. Alright, we got the yellow key. Also, I think we just fought our first Pinky. That was the first one we encountered, right? I think they're officially just called demons. But fans call them Pinkies to distinguish them from all the other demons you fight in the game. They're only threatening if they can corner you, and then just kind of have you trapped and eat your face. But if you have room to move around, they're not much of a threat because they're purely melee. Not sure how to get that soul sphere, which is a shame because I'm pretty sure that gives you 200 health and ammo, so it would be very useful. Oh, I got the yellow key, not the blue key. Derp. Alright, so I think we have to go back this way. I'm turned around again already. Okay, I cut out a bit of fruitless backtracking that didn't really lead to anything. And now, let us continue onward in this direction. Whoa! Okay, that was not good. Saw those guys panicked, fired, hit the explosive barrel in my way. Didn't go well for me. Luckily, health pickups are pretty plentiful in these early levels, so even if you make a bad mistake like that, you'll probably be okay. And there's the blue key card. Uh-oh, I just went over a teleporter. And it's real dark in here. Interesting. Okay. I'll just pick this up. I'm not going to be coming back here, realistically speaking. One characteristic of Doom, of which I'm sure everybody is aware, is that although it's visually 3D, it's logically basically a 2D game. That's why I don't really have to aim up or down, and the game auto-aims for me. The map layouts cannot have floors above each other. They can't be in layers. And it results in weird quirks like, even if you encounter a flying enemy, logically speaking, it has no height, no distance off the ground, even if visually it does. That means it can look like it's flying miles above you, and yet you will not be able to run underneath it. Because as far as the game is concerned, it only has an X and a Z position. It doesn't have a Y position. I'm sure that was done for processing efficiency reasons, because obviously computers in the 90s were far weaker than they are today, so they had to make compromises. But it's quirky. Until you get used to it and understand how it works, it can result in things that seem odd. I really like some of these lighting effects, though. These certainly help contribute to the atmosphere. Honestly, even today, the game does not look bad. Obviously, the graphics don't have the technical sophistication of modern games, but they don't look bad at all, even now. Just old is all. Alright, and that's another level done. I'm going to go ahead and make a save here. And then move on to level 4. Command control. I knew there would... Okay, nope, never mind. I thought I took a hit from behind, but I think I actually took a hit from one of the guys up in the balconies. Yeah, this is perfectly demonstrating how I don't have to aim up or down at all. Game automatically takes care of that for you as long as you're on target horizontally. Ooh, I think I got a couple hits on me. There is randomness in the damage, as I understand. So when you hit an enemy, or an enemy hits you, it doesn't do a fixed amount of damage, it's a range. That means when you take hits, sometimes you get lucky and you don't take much damage. Other times you get unlucky and you take a big pile of damage, and the reverse also applies when you hit the enemies. Oh, ambush. It's a little dangerous checking the map because it does not pause the game while you're checking the map. And enemies can and will rip your face off while you're looking at it, and the enemies don't show up on the map. So a little dangerous. Obviously less dangerous if you're pretty confident you've cleared out the area. Radiation suit. Those are not infinite duration. I was afraid of that. Looks like we've already been here anyway. Okay, yeah, I'm just kind of running in circles at this point. There's a soul sphere over there. Alright, I wonder. Nope, nothing secret there. Aha, haven't been this way. Satisfying. Okay, so if we want to run through that, we'll want that radiation suit. Which, the reason I didn't pick it up is, again, they're limited duration. Aha, it's right here. I had a suspicion this would be full of dudes. Wanted to go for the barrel, but they kept body blocking it. Chain gun. Heck yeah! And once again, that impish smile the Doom guy gets when he picks up a new weapon. It's so good. Okay, so you just step on that lighted area to make the doors go up. Alright, so if we're going to be going in the muck, the radioactive garbage... Here we go. Drop down. I think we've already been that way, so let's try the other way. Oh, I found a secret area? Oh man, rocket launcher already. Awesome. Oh, maybe I should have stood on that. Can I make it come back down? Huh, okay. Maybe I'm not going to be able to get up there now because I didn't realize it worked that way. Oh well. C'est la vie. Let's get out of the gunk. 200% armor. We're doing quite well in that regard. Now, where haven't I gone? Looks like up here and to the west. As I said, my sense of direction in this kind of game is not fantastic at the best of times. And when I'm commenting at the same time, it's just going to be awful. So, that's just something we're going to have to deal with. I'm going to have to be better at conserving my ammo in later levels, I'm pretty sure. It's fairly generous about it in these early levels. Alright, we're in some kind of server room or something here. Whoa. There we go. Handled. Hear more monster growling. Oh, is that the exit? I feel like I missed a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's definitely like a whole part of the map I didn't explore. There's a key card I didn't even get. I'm not sure I want to go to the exit already. Let's explore a bit more first. Wow, big chunk of this map is optional then. Okay, so far I'm being rewarded for exploring by getting my face ripped off. These explosive barrels make me nervous. Well, this is a constricted dark labyrinth. As long as we have a quick trigger finger and peer around corners, I think we'll be okay. Pinkies. Okay, pinkies in a constrained space are scary. That one appears to have gotten confused. Okay, we're alright, we're alright. So far, all I'm doing is using up a lot of ammo on this little exploration. Get wrecked. Ow. How am I doing so poorly? There we go. Can actually be a lot harder to hit enemies at point blank than from far away, because every little movement they do when you're real close, they move a lot farther, seemingly, and you have to adjust your aim a lot more. Whereas if they're far away, you don't really have to adjust your aim much when they're scooching around. Alright, we've acquired the yellow key card. And conveniently enough, the yellow door is right here. Is that taking us to somewhere where we already were? Was that completely pointless and just made me use up a lot of ammo? Or maybe that raised up this bridge and I wasn't going to be able to access the exit unless I did all that. I'm not entirely sure. But it looks like we are done with another level now. Go ahead and make a save. And move onward. Look at my time. Mwah! So far over par. Fantastic. Next up, Phobos Lab.